get everything sorted for you. Alrighty, team. The girls are ready, finally. Are you ready to see this guy get married? Yeah. Are you ready to get married? All right, let's do it. Ladies and gents, please be upstanding as we welcome the bridal party. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a massive round of applause to show our love and support for our beautiful couple. As I nearly ran through your bail. You may be seated, guys. Alright, are we good? Okay, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, it is with great pleasure and excitement that I welcome you to the wedding ceremony of Dan and Teagan. They are so thankful that you've joined them today, and while we are sad some people couldn't make the journey, that does mean there is a little extra alcohol shortly, so we're going to have a drink on their behalf. And before I go any further, can we give it up for Rara singing live music for the entry song? They're absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant. So my name is Daniel Delby, and I'm duly authorised by law to solemnise marriages according to law. I'm not your typical old lady celebrant, and it's important that everyone knows that the bride and groom have heard and approved today's ceremony. As we all know Teagan, I don't have to tell you that it was plugged into her diary, crossed out on the fridge's to-do list, and ready to go 4 months ahead of schedule. So, knowing that we've got the all clear, when you hear the romantic parts and the funny parts of the story, please have a laugh out loud with them. Because audience laughing at ceremony is on a to-do list, so please help me out. Laughing does make you 70% more attractive to the opposite sex, so Dan must have laughed a lot because he's definitely batting. All right. Teagan and Dan have a supportive, honest and understanding relationship, which is absolutely crucial because these guys are more competitive than a drunk soccer mum on a Sunday morning. To be honest, Dan thinks that they can put the success of their relationship down to the failures of the West Coast Eagles. Teagan is a mad Dockers fan and has enjoyed a run of success over Dan's Eagles for the span of their entire relationship. But because I wrote this 4 months ago, I had to update it until last week, which means that Dan has learned patience and humility from many derbies, which has allowed him to seem gracious in defeat. But after last week's win, Dan went to town. We're lucky today's still going ahead. Their competitive streak even extends into the bedroom. They love racing. They love racing to see who gets there first. Don't worry, parents. By that I mean they physically race, sprinting upstairs to their bedroom to play what they've invented as a pillow game. I've learnt this is when the throw pillows live up to their name and they're ditched onto the other person's side of the bed. The rule is whoever hits the floor first has to deal with them in the morning. It's a riveting 90-year-old nursing home game there. Pillow talk gone mild. Battles aside, they really are best friends that care deeply for each other and listen when they are struggling with something, like Dan stacking the dishwasher correctly. Their connection is instinctual. Everything is simple and easy with open communication, and they always have each other's back. But above all, they love the fun and joy when they love the fun and joy they create when they're together. Hashtag throw pillow game. Their story wasn't love at first sight or love at first swipe, which is more common these days. This was more like the romantic equivalent of the tortoise and the hare. Dan met Teagan 13 years ago, but was in a relationship and not looking. However, Upon becoming single, he did notice himself stalking her thirst trap photos on Instagram. He distinctly remembers thinking to himself, if he ever got so lucky, don't let this one go. So he started building a dungeon in his basement. Even worse, he tried his best at chatting her up by clicking the love heart emoji, dropping some flames, and even DMing her from the other side of the world after a music festival while he was drunk. Teagan didn't buy it, but it did not deter Dan. It only took a short 8 more years for him to convince her to accompany him for a drink. Starting with him spotting her at the Peach Pit in Scarborough as she walked in. He saw her head to the bar, so he sculled his drink immediately so that he could accidentally bump into her while ordering another drink. Ironically, it was at the restaurant Skull where Teagan saw Dan for the first time as a potential partner. Her friends were having some relationship issues and she witnessed Dan consoling her and imparting wisdom beyond his years. As Dr. Dan walked off, Teagan remembers discussing how nice that guy was with her newly healed mate. Luckily for Dan, the government was trying to heal the whole state during COVID by locking it down. This meant that Teags couldn't venture to Albany to visit her family. So finally, after months of trying to flirt with her and asking her out, she agreed to join him on a boat party that they'd managed to organise with enough social distancing to not be considered a threat. Dan said from there it was like shelling peas. She simply could not resist his charm. He told me his first kiss had her soaking because they were in the water at Scarborough Beach as the sun set on the horizon. Using her lips is also one of Dan's favourite things about Teagan as a speech therapist. He loves her passion for helping people with autism or speech issues. And he loves that she can share her own experiences to assist others and how she is selfless with her time for her friends and loved ones. She inspires Dan to be the best person he can be. But the most joy that he feels is when he's able to make her laugh, whether it's with him or at him for stuffing up a sentence or word, like when he said cumulation instead of cumulation. Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, he cherishes how secure and loved that she makes him feel. On the flip side, Teagan's favourite thing is how Dan listens. A speaker and a listener, the perfect match. Dan will give you his full attention and try and learn from you as well as empathise. He's always there to support her no matter what. Like the time that she divulged to him that she was having trouble sleeping. Dan reckons all she had to do for a peaceful rest is to stop thinking about that first kiss. After hearing her dreaming dramas, he took it upon himself to buy her an eye mask. This was a bit of a risk back then, as Teagan had her guard up and wasn't letting Dan get too close. As he presented it to her, he informed her it was so she could sleep while the sun was still up. Maybe Dan could have used that when he was drunk overseas before sliding into her DMs. But for Teagan, she felt that this made it even more special because he still gave it to her, even though her walls were up so high that he felt like a Mexican trying to get through Trump's border. From barriers of entry to floodgates of love, Dan will never forget the time that Teagan surprised him on Valentine's Day. It was the first time that he'd seen her softer, romantic side, as he was now accepted into the United States of Teagan. Before they were dating, she had told him she was doing a Galentine's dinner with her girlfriend Rachel, so he wouldn't make any plans to ask her to do something. A few weeks before Valentine's, Rachel asked Dan to join them. So Dan cancelled the plans he had with his side chick and agreed. Nah. You guys are like, what? Yeah. No, he thought he was crashing the girls' night out, but Teags had secretly planned it to be just them for a romantic dinner. But I am told it had nothing on what they did this Valentine's Day, back-to-back fringe shows from a hell good local comedian. Family played a big part of their realisation that their love was a little bit deeper than Cupid's arrow on a Hallmark card. For Dan, it was when Teagan gave him wood and irons and putters. She bought herself a set of golf clubs so that she could play with him, and he knew that she was the one. Yeah, the hole-in-one for him. On top of that, she even went down the mountain slopes on a snowboarding holiday with Dan, even though she hates the cold. The thing that really stood out for Dan was when she would go and visit his parents and family to catch up for coffee, even while he was away at work. For Teagan, she's never thought that he wasn't the one. Ever since he gave her the eye mask, her vision of them being together has never been clearer. She remembers being out for lunch with Dan and seeing her sister at the same restaurant from across the room. Teagan was a little bit tipsy, and she just yelled out, "It's Serena!" and took off running. Dan hadn't met her sister at this point, so he wasn't sure whether she just spotted a giant tennis player or Justin Bieber's ex-girlfriend. He sat at the table alone like Forrest Gump at the bus stop as Teagan chatted away to this random girl and her friends, eventually waving Lieutenant Dan over. Dan was his usual charming self, and afterwards Teagan received a message from her sister saying he seemed nice, which I'm told is a huge deal, because apparently Serena returned service on nearly every guy she'd dated before, but with Dan in his prime, it was about 30 love. After dating and deciding that he wanted to wife her up, it was game set. Now he needed to secure his match. There was months of planning to coincide with their families being together at Teagan's 30th birthday. Again, marking a massive core value of family for these guys. Dan had the ring designed with the help of Rachel, who had pretended to be interested in rings for herself to draw out Teagan's preferences. As her 30th birthday approached, Dan abruptly stopped letting her play Candy Crush on his phone, so she sensed that the proposal was imminent and envisioned getting a gemstone of her own. However, as the weekend arrived, Dan was just way too relaxed, so she completely wrote it off. Dan then called her to meet him at the hotel early. Now, I'm hoping it didn't throw out her calendar too much, but she could tell that he'd already been there and checked in, as he led her straight to the room without having to check for directions. So her heart began beating quicker than a Pfizer jab as she thought a proposal was imminent. She opened the door to decorate it to a room decorated in rose petals with a picnic basket and wine set up on the floor, but no proposal. She then rationalised that it just must be for her birthday, so she took her time absorbing everything that was happening in the room. Dan then urged her to open the wine, but she told him to wait as she was just trying to get settled. After that, Dan wouldn't stop whining himself, so she finally opened the basket and saw a ring box. But her brain was now out of proposal mode and thought it was part of the birthday surprise, so she didn't react at all until Dan said, "Is there anything else in there?" It finally clicked, and Teagan's first response was, "Fuck off!" As she turned around, Dan was on one knee. Her heartbeat drowned out his words, and she just kept repeating, "Fuck off! Fuck off!" Pure Aussie romance. When she finally remembered the words yes, they embraced, and Dan's heartbeat had matched her tachycardia, which made her feel strangely calm as she sensed that they were joining together as one. They went out for dinner with their families to celebrate, and Teagan decided that their hearts hadn't had enough of a stress test yet. As she washed her hands in the sink, the diamond dislodged and went straight down the drain. Dan rearranged the pipes in the most wholesome way possible and retrieved 12 months of salary. So from stressful hearts beating to uniting as one, are you guys ready to make this official? Okay, here we go. So I need to say this to make it real. Before you're joined in marriage in my presence and in the presence of these witnesses, I'm to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship into which you are now about to enter. Marriage, according to law in Australia, is a union of two people to the exclusion of all others voluntarily entered into for life. So these are the I do's. Dan, do you promise to love Teagan as much as you love your phone's screensaver photos of Teagan? Try and eat a Kit Kat properly just once. Conform to Teagan's cutlery stacking policies in the dishwasher. Always schedule time in your calendar for her. And keep putting her chewing gum in the bin before bed. And continue to be the patient, supportive and dependable partner she's fallen in love with from this point forward.
I do.
Teagan, do you promise to love Dan as much as you love Freo? Let him wash himself with the shower cleaning scrubber if he chooses to. Let Dan sleep in sometimes instead of waking him up when you get up. Put your phone down and let Dan be your Candy Crush. Always make him feel loved and secured, and continue to be the selfless, loving, caring, beautiful and better at maths partner he has fallen in love with from this day forward.
I do.
Nice. So we're about to do the vows right now. So can I please ask for Lewis to come forward and hand us the rings? Thank you, Lewis. Cheers, mate. All right. Yep. So what we're going to do? Nice. Oh, I don't want to go down a sink, eh? What we're going to do? Who's going to go first? Do you want to paper, scissors, rocket? Yeah, that's all right.
I'll go first.
You go first? Nice. All right, so Dan's going to go first. He'll read his vows. I'll hand him the mic and the vow book. When he's finished, I'll grab the mic and the vow book back, hand him his ring. He'll put it on like a finishing move, and we'll clap and cheer. So that's yours. You gotta hold this. So I'll move because it's better for your photos. So you got that. With one hand.
Yeah. Tissues first, folks. Oh. Okay. I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Daniel James Bennett, take you, Teagan Elise Martin, to be my lawful wedded wife. I stand across from you today, struggling how to articulate how loving you makes me feel. I don't feel like any word in my vocabulary can quite do it justice. I don't even know if they've invented a word that describes the way I love you. But if there was one, you'll let me know about it. You've taught me the feeling of safety, of trust. The way I miss you when we're not together, the way I'm constantly thinking of new ways to make you laugh or smile. The addiction I have to the happiness we have together. This is what true love is. Teagan, you have the ability to make everybody you interact with feel heard, feel important, feel genuinely cared for. Your caring nature and ability to put other people first shine through even in our early text messages. This is one of many reasons why I can honestly say I've known you're the love of my life for a very, very long time. Learning about what you value, what you're passionate about, what you consider important, has grown my love for you. You encourage me to always strive to be the best version of myself. You've helped me realise the type of man, the type of partner and father that I want to be. My first vow to you today is to promise from here forward to cherish every moment that I spend with you. The rings. Oh, with this ring. Do I have to keep going with this bit, with the ring? Yeah, okay. With this ring, I promise to continue to make new games up, like the pillow game. To tell bad jokes, just to make you smile and laugh. I promise to never stop at one kiss and always make sure there's three, a minimum of three. I promise to try and eat a Kit Kat the right way. I promise to end every night or every day with the words "Good night, beautiful." I promise that I will always be there for you through any challenges that come our way. I promise to provide a safe, securing and trust to communicate and work through challenges together. I promise to support your decisions, support your goals, both personally and in your career, even during the Derby. I promise that our success will always be shared, even after the Derby. I thought we were going to lose at this point when I wrote these. I promise that our love will always take priority. I cannot wait to start adding it to our family, our four-legged family, and hopefully add some two legs soon. I can't wait to explore the world together, to share adventures, to work on projects with you, like owning our own home. I can't wait to work through our shared things we like. I can't wait to work through our shared things we like folder on Instagram and turn our dreams into realities. Teagan, today is the day I join my life to yours, not only by the need for constant forms of touch, like hooking my feet under the dinner table at restaurants, holding my earlobe whilst I drive. Today I get to be your husband, your forever partner, and I can't bloody wait.
Yeah, fish on. Our first one is on. Round of applause. Congrats. All right. Same thing in reverse. All right.
Oh, fuck,
keep
okay.
this up on your chin. And hold it up there just in case.
Okay. Oh, my mouth's so dry. They weren't supposed to hear that. I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Teagan Elise Martin, take you, Daniel James Bennett, to be my lawful wedded husband. Dan, you're my person. There is no part of you, of us, that I don't believe wasn't meant to be a part of my life, long term. There are times when I ache at the thought of how many years of us we might have missed out on if I had have given you a chance at the first Snapchat in 2014. But then I realise how thankful I am that we had those years to grow separately, because maybe without those years, I would not be standing here with you today. And that thought of not having you as you are here with me today, loving you as much as I do, and knowing how much you love me, makes me understand just how lucky I am to have you at all, regardless of time. We both know that at the start, I was guarded. I was terrified of letting you in and being vulnerable. But you have shown me every single day that being in love with you is anything but scary. Being in love with you is unbelievably easy. It is exciting, it is comforting, and it is freeing. I can be my most honest and open self and still feel completely secure. I can be my most embarrassing and childish self, jumping on dried leaves, and I know you will be with me pointing out the crunchiest ones. Being with you, I know I am safe in every sense of the word. I've never told you this, but after 6 months of dating, I started a list in my notes app for things that you do that I knew one day would be in my vows. The first thing I ever wrote on that list was when you wore your rings to Sanaa's funeral, specifically because you knew I would need something to fidget with. That was the day I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life with you. I can't see. Yep. Dan, I love you for your patience with me. I love you for your unwavering support. I love you for how much you consider me in all parts of our lives together. I love you for slowing me down when I'm spiraling. I love you for listening to me when I am hurting, when I am angry, when I am excited, when I am confused, when I am worried, and all the emotions in between. I love you for giving me the space to think and feel and process. I love you for your dedication to anything and everything you set your mind to, especially persisting with asking me out. But most of all, I love that you have chosen me to be yours. Even though our story together so far is only short, I'm ecstatic that the rest of my story will have you in it. I am so excited for whatever our future looks like, and I'm so proud to be standing here with you, about to be able to call you my husband. With this ring, I promise to make you feel just as safe and secure as you make me feel. I promise to be the type of support you need, whatever the situation, and I promise to show you how much I love you every day for the rest of our lives. You are my person, and I love you endlessly. It's clean.
Yeah. All right, second one is on. Round of applause for their vows and their public speaking. So in a moment, we're going to sign the paperwork and then we'll come back for the kiss. So their first kiss is officially as husband and wife. So if I can get the two witnesses to meet us over at the signing barrel, we'll put on some music and in 5 minutes time, we'll see these guys hook up in public. So can we give them a round of applause and their support team, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Oh, I love it. You two look beautiful. I didn't, but I could imagine.
Alrighty, team. We are good to go. Just a little bit of housekeeping as they settle in. So straight after this, they're going to take off and do photos immediately while they got good light. So just save your congrats till we get over to the reception. There's also QR codes on the tables. Wherever you scan it, it will bring you to a photo app, and all the photos you take, I think like at midnight or 1 o'clock, it'll all get sent at once to these guys. So they're going to have heaps of wicked photos. So scan the QR code. And last thing is, as you walk in, there's like a tripod set up. So smile for the camera. It's like red carpet. So as you go in, you get like what's going on? I'm coming to the reception. All right. I'm going to stand over here so I'm not the creep in the back of their photo when they're kissing. So you guys good to go in a sec? Yep. Alrighty. So our beautiful newlyweds are proudest of staying together after the past 4 derbies. They've grown their relationship from living apart to moving in together and raising a puppy and 2 cats. In the future, they wish to travel together more, buy a house and add some humans to the animal family. As long as they're always each other's biggest supporters, they will always be able to handle life's challenges together. Just like when Dan plans to enter them into the over 50s golf 2-ball Ambrose male and female championships and come out victorious. So we'll get a exit song slowly underneath so they can kiss like a rom-com and it's not awkward. Alrighty. So, from your first kiss in the sunset at Scarborough to the sunset at the edge of the Swan River, Dan, I invite you for the first time as her husband to kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding as I present for the first time as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Bennett. Congratulations. And give it up for their support team, the bridal party, the groomsmen and groomsperson and groomswoman and bridesmaids.
I was like, we're going to walk it.
All right. See you shortly at the reception.